What up, everybody? Welcome back to Jayfabe Wrestling. And yeah, we are here deep into the summer. It's super hot out here where I'm from in Toronto. Today was like plus 35. So yeah, we definitely have that SummerSlam feeling going on. And we're going to try to rebook all the SummerSlams that I haven't rebooked yet. So yeah, it's going to be a real fun. SummerSlam is definitely one of my favorite pay-per-views of all time here. It's just like when I was a kid, like it was a summer, so I didn't have to worry about school, and just I was super hyped for wrestling. And yeah, so let's get into it. We are going to be looking at SummerSlam 2002. This took place on August 25th, 2002 at Uniondale, New York at the Nassau Coliseum, if I'm saying it correctly. And yeah, this was a stacked card, one of the best pay-per-views of all time, probably the best SummerSlam of all time, and definitely in contention for a pay-per-view that WWE has done, one of the best for sure. And this card was stacked. Let's get into it. In the opener, we got Kurt Angle defeating Rey Mysterio. Then we got Ric Flair defeating Chris Jericho. And then we have Edge defeating Latino Heat Eddie Guerrero. Then we have a tag team match for the WWE Tag Team Championships. We have the Un-Americans Christian and Lance Storm defeating Booker T and Goldust. Then we have for the Intercontinental Championship, Rob Van Dam defeating the Rabid Wolverine Chris Benoit. The American Badass, the Undertaker, defeats the Un-American Test. And a unsanctioned match, the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels defeats the Game Triple H. And in the main event for the WWE Undisputed Championship, the next big thing, Brock Lesnar defeats the Great One, The Rock. So yeah, just look at this card. Every match has a Hall of Famer. And yeah, look, the two least known stars here are probably Test and Lance Storm. And these guys ain't no scrubs. So this was a stacked card. Obviously, the opener with Kurt versus Rey, that was one of the best under 10-minute openers of all time. Rey Mysterio just debuted, so he was super over. Ric Flair, he was in the company. Jericho just moved to Raw, so they had a nice feud going on there. Edge and Eddie Guerrero just, showing their chemistry and showing what the future SmackDown 6 could do. They had an amazing no DQ match on SmackDown. So then we have, again, Booker T and Goldust, this weird unconventional team taking on the Un-Americans, this new hot heel stable here. And we got the return of Chris Benoit to the ring after being out nearly a year, so that was cool. And him and RVD going at it, a very cool matchup. Undertaker just turned face versus the Un-American Test. That was fun. And then, of course, the return of the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels, the amazing vignette, the amazing promo, Triple H turning on Shawn Michaels, and it was also revealed that he attacked Shawn in the parking lot. So yeah, the build there was amazing, and then the match was unbelievable. Shawn Michaels, after a 4-year hiatus, just showing that he's still the man and having the best match on the card. And then, of course, the main event, The Rock passes the torch to the future Brock Lesnar. And yeah, The Rock gets booed. Brock gets cheered. So The Rock was about to leave again for Hollywood, and everyone was, starting to get on the Brock Lesnar bandwagon. So yeah, I mean, to be honest, if I just said this rebooking would be the same card, I mean, would you be really mad at me? Like, but yeah, I'm going to try to make it better. One thing I do want to note is Hogan, he was not on the card. And I guess he took a hiatus after losing to Brock Lesnar on SmackDown. But yeah, I would have him on my booking, but I just want to be true to whatever was going on, and he wasn't on the card. So, and he didn't come back until No Way Out 2003. So I'm going to assume that, yeah, he didn't want to be on the card. We don't have him on the card. So, but if he was on the card, then yeah, this card would be even more stacked for sure. And yeah, also I want to point the brand split was going on. People were jumping from show to show, so I'll definitely have to talk about that in my rebooking. And yeah, honestly, I'm going to keep a lot of matches the same here. But I just want Undertaker to do something a little bit better, and yeah, maybe improve the tag team championship match a little bit. But yeah, aside from that, there's not going to be much changes, guys. So this might be a short one, but yeah, let's get into it right now. All right, so the first match I have on the card would be for the WWE World Tag Team Championship, and I would have Booker T and Goldust defending against Los Guerreros. So I would actually have Booker T and Goldust win the belts at Vengeance. They can defeat the Un-Americans here, and yeah, again, they're saying they're the best tag team, and Eddie jumps to SmackDown, and he's telling Stephanie that how come we don't have the tag team championships here? We need it on SmackDown. And Stephanie is like, yeah, Eddie, you're right. So why don't you find a partner and get those belts back? And yeah, Eddie's a little bit reluctant, but he chooses Chavo Guerrero. He says he doesn't, want to get his family involved, but he knows that the Guerrero family will, honor the tag team division, and they're gonna win it for SmackDown. And yeah, and then Eddie and Chavo, they can say we're just as funny as Booker T and Goldust, so they can do a couple of vignettes on SmackDown trying to mock Booker T and Goldust. And yeah, Booker T and Goldust, they're very focused. They want to keep the belts on Raw. Eric Bischoff is the new GM, so he tells Booker and Goldust that if you don't win the titles, you might as well just go to SmackDown. So yeah, that motivates Booker T and Goldust here. And yeah, a simple feud, Raw versus SmackDown. So this is an interpromotional match. And I would actually have Booker T and Goldust retain the tag team championships. As you all know, the tag team championships remained on Raw before SmackDown created their own WWE tag team champions. So it would make sense for Booker T and Goldust to retain here. And I did feel that when they won the belts in December, that they did win it a little bit too late. I feel like this was peak Booker T and Goldust in the summer. So yeah, this would have been the right time to do it. And it would have been a nice, fun tag team match with Booker T and Goldust retaining the belts. All right, another match I have is also a interpromotional matchup here. We have Jeff Hardy on Raw versus Matt Hardy version 1 on SmackDown. So yeah, the build can be simple here. Obviously, if you guys remember, going into 2002, the Hardys had a little bit of a feud as well. So that's always important to note. And yeah, obviously that at that time the feud didn't feel organic and natural. But with Matt Hardy coming up with this new gimmick, Matt Hardy version 1, I think this would have been a perfect time to have the match here at SummerSlam. So yeah, the build would be simple. I would have the Hardy Boys be the ones to actually take the belt from Billy and Chuck, but they would lose it to the Un-Americans. And yeah, there's just a little bit of miscommunication on how they lose the match. And Matt Hardy's becoming a little bit frustrated here. And then they could have a match with Booker T and Goldust on Raw. And Jeff, again, he does another crash and burn, high-flying move that fails, and they lose the match. And then after the match, Matt can pretending to help him, hit him with the twist of fate, and says he's done with Jeff Hardy. He's going to SmackDown to be a better version of himself. And yeah, he debuts the Matt Hardy V1 gimmick. He tries to recruit Jeff on SmackDown. He's saying, come to SmackDown, let me lead you so we can stop losing like we were before. And Jeff Hardy can slap Matt Hardy. And yeah, that's pretty much the feud. Obviously, they can talk about how, as they were brothers, Jeff got all the shine, even though Matt was always the mature one, taking care of him. And Matt says everyone thinks Jeff is better just because he does high-flying moves, but he wants to prove that he is the better Hardy. So yeah, I think this would have been the right time to do it, because obviously they were on separate brands after this. And then, of course, Jeff Hardy kind of fills it out in early 2003. So this would have been a good time to definitely establish Matt Hardy's character, as well as I would give him a win. He could counter the twist of fate into a roll-up and have his foot on the ropes to get the win. But yeah, I think this would be a nice, cool match here to really culminate the Hardys before they actually split up in the brand split. All right, the next match is from SmackDown. I have Edge versus Chris Jericho. So yeah, I do not have Jericho jump to Raw just yet. If you guys remember, Edge was supposed to fight Chris Jericho, I believe, in the King of the Ring. But obviously, Edge got injured, so they did have a blow-off match, steel cage match, which I would actually have here instead. So yeah, the build is simple. Jericho, he doesn't like these young guys taking their spot, and Edge can be like, you're just jealous that there's a better blonde Canadian than you, and that he's coming for your spot. You talk about how you won the Undisputed Championship, but what have you done lately? So, yeah, Jericho can say he's tired of being disrespected by people like Edge. You know, he's a main event level superstar that deserves to be respected by the young generation. So, yeah, great back and forth here, and they had a really good steel cage match, if you guys remember. The Un-Americans interfered, Rey Mysterio and John Cena interfered. So I would have the same thing here with the Un-Americans who are not on the card. So it actually makes sense that they will come, jump in, try to help Jericho. And then, yeah, the young guys like Cena and even Rey Mysterio can come and help Edge. And Edge would get the clean win here over Chris Jericho. Well, not really clean, but, you know, get the final win here in their feud. And Jericho, after this, can be very frustrated. And then he could jump to Raw. So yeah, Chris Jericho versus Edge. I think these guys had a really good feud in 2002. And, yeah, I would just have the blow-off instead of a SmackDown be at SummerSlam. All right, next up, I have a Raw match. I have the rematch from WrestleMania 18. Obviously, in my world, my WrestleMania, I did not have this match, so I think it would still be cool. Either way you go at it, we have Ric Flair versus The Undertaker. So yeah, the feud, again, would be very simple here. Ric Flair gets fired as Raw GM, and yeah, Undertaker comes out and says he wants to know if Ric Flair still got it. He says, forget about the suits, forget about the business meetings, me and you at SummerSlam. And yeah, even Ric Flair can mention how in 1991 he helped The Undertaker become a star. He helped him defeat Hogan to win his first WWF championship. And The Undertaker could say, it doesn't really matter, Flair, because I was going to be great anyways. So yeah, they can, again, keep it personal here as well. If you want Undertaker to involve Ric Flair's family, we can definitely do that. But I'm more leaning towards a friendly, respectful competition. I would still have Undertaker be a heel, but he wouldn't be like a despicable heel here. He would be more respectful of Ric Flair because I would actually have him turn babyface the next night. And obviously he would feud with Brock Lesnar. So yeah, it would just be a very respectful Legends match here. And The Undertaker could power out of the figure four, hit the choke slam, hit the tombstone, 1, 2, 3, clean win. And after the match, it looks like The Undertaker's about to beat up on Flair even more, but he picks him up and he shakes his hand. And yeah, that's what would actually solidify The Undertaker's face turn as he goes on to feud with Brock Lesnar. All right, so the next 4 matches, guys, I'll be honest, are all matches that actually happen on the card. Just because all 4 of these matches are really great, and obviously these 4 matches help SummerSlam become one of the best, or maybe even the best SummerSlam of all time. And yeah, we're going to talk about first is Kurt Angle versus Rey Mysterio. So I would still have this match actually open the card, and obviously the build here was that Rey Mysterio pinned Kurt Angle in a tag team match, and Kurt Angle couldn't believe it. He was surprised that even said he got pinned by a freaking 9-year-old or something, 12-year-old. And then, yeah, he just had these hilarious promos where he'd be like, I'm a man, you're a boy, and I'm going to get on top of you. Just all these, like, only Kurt Angle could do this comedic lines, and he's just very goofy, even though he's trying to be serious. So, yeah, and obviously these guys had great chemistry, and it's actually sad. They never really got another pay-per-view match aside from the WrestleMania 22 main event, but that was too short, and that also involved Randy Orton. So this was definitely their best match that they had together, and their biggest match, and Rey Mysterio's first WWE pay-per-view. So this is really big stuff, and yeah, everything with the build I'll keep the same. Just a fun, light opener as well. It's not really like a heated rivalry, but obviously there's like a competitiveness between the two. And yeah, this was one of the best openers that was under 10 minutes. And Kurt Angle would still get the clean victory here, but Rey Mysterio looked strong in defeat. All right, next up, we got for the Intercontinental Championship, another interpromotional match. We got Rob Van Dam, the Intercontinental Champion, defending against Chris Benoit. So the only change I would have here is that Benoit doesn't win the belt. I don't like these switches of the belts often, frequently, and I just want a good build here. We don't need to see them have a match so the match feels even more fresh. The build is pretty simple. It's Chris Benoit jumps to SmackDown, and Stephanie says, I want the Intercontinental Championship on SmackDown. So, yeah, Benoit makes the challenge. We could have Bischoff decline, but then RVD could come on and say, chill, bro, I got this, I accept. So Eric Bischoff's a little pissed at RVD, and he's a little nervous that the IC title will go to SmackDown. And yeah, they could even invade each other's shows, and Benoit could hit RVD with a chair, and then the next week RVD could hit the Van Daminator to get his revenge. So just some nice build there. And yeah, very simple, the different styles. We have RVD, the athletic high flyer with the strikes, and we got Chris Benoit, technical technician. So yeah, and their match was really, really good as well. And I would have the same result. I would have RVD get the clean victory here. And yeah, this was one of those very physical, grueling matches because RVD's ponytail came off. So it's not often we see RVD's hair all messy. So that's how you know it was a great fight. And yeah, really good match to have on the show. All right, next up we have the unsanctioned match between Shawn Michaels and Triple H. And yeah, keep everything here the same. The video package was definitely one of the best video packages of all time, where it showed early DX, and then obviously Triple H revealed as the attacker in the parking lot. And before that, they had like the fake DX reunion where Triple H hit Shawn Michaels with a pedigree. And then, yeah, as I said, Triple H was revealed as the attacker, and Shawn was like, I'll be ready by SummerSlam. So that was very cool. And obviously a lot of stories going into the match where Shawn was very nervous. His parents spoke to Triple H, and Triple H was like, yeah, I'll protect your boy. So yeah, there was definitely a lot of stuff going on here. And just very emotional stuff, obviously seeing Shawn Michaels return after 4 years. And yeah, feuding with Triple H. And at the time, we thought this was going to be a one-off match, but Shawn ended up wrestling for another 8 years. So yeah, definitely was the start of something very special. As Shawn Michaels' second run, people are saying might even be better than his first run. And yeah, this match was great. Obviously, Shawn, he didn't really want to do a lot of wrestling, so there was a lot of weapons involved. He jumped off the ladder, he used the chair, he used the steel garbage can, and Triple H obviously used the hammer at the end to keep Shawn Michaels out for a couple months. So that made sense for the storyline. And yeah, the finish was great with Shawn countering the pedigree. So yeah, into a pinfall. And again, keep everything the same here. SummerSlam 2002 is not known as one of the best shows if we don't have the return of Shawn Michaels and this classic unsanctioned street fight. All right, we're here at the main event of the evening for the Undisputed Championship. Brock versus Rock, the passing of the torch, Rock's farewell before he returns in 2003 as a heel. So yeah, there's definitely a lot going on here. Brock wins King of the Ring. And just like in my rebooking as well, I'd have Brock win King of the Ring. And obviously, again, he gets the shot at The Rock. And of course, the build was amazing when it was showing just the athleticism in the business. It's not just about, storylines, steel chairs, weapons, blood feuds, but it's just about the competitiveness of wanting to be the best and both putting in the craft. We see, The Rock running in the stadium, Brock lifting weights, and it just definitely gave a big big match feel, kind of like a UFC main event, a big boxing main event. Even when you see, the competitors train in the as the hype package there. So yeah, and this was a really great match. Um, Obviously, it'll be remembered for The Rock getting booed and the fans cheering for Brock Lesnar. We had The Rock bottom Paul Heyman on the announce table, so that was really cool. And yeah, the finish was awesome. Brock counters the Rock bottom, kind of underhooks him, catches him with the F5. 1, 2, 3. Here comes the pain, the next big thing. He is the new champ. Just a dominant run, debuting after WrestleMania 18. And less than, 4 or 5 months, he's already undisputed champion, defeating one of the biggest stars of all time. So yeah, this just, again, really sealed that this was one of the best pay-per-views ever, because you have this classic Shawn Triple H, and then Rock and Brock follow it, And that's what they did as the main event. They followed it, and they deserved to main event. And yeah, ended the show on a high note as, The Rock kind of passed the torch to the next big thing, Brock Lesnar. So yeah, guys, that is my card for SummerSlam 2002. Let me know what you guys think about it. Just, again, a few things. This show is already great, so even if I didn't rebook it, I mean, this show would have been great as how it was. A few improvements. Of course, I kept the 4 big money matches. And then I feel like I improved both the Undertaker, his match versus Tess, him versus Flair. Obviously, you've seen the chemistry they had at WrestleMania 18. So if they just have that match here, it'd be very good. And then, yeah, Jericho versus Flair. It was a little bit disappointing, but obviously we replaced it with Jericho and Edge. Edge obviously a little younger. He could keep up with Chris Jericho. And then if we have that same steel cage match that they have it on SmackDown, one of the best SmackDown matches, I think that's definitely an upgrade as well. And then having Matt and Jeff blow off their feud, I think makes sense before they part ways in the brand split, and Matt Hardy just turned to Matt Hardy version 1. So I think it would have been the right time to do it as well. And then the tag team title match, we have Booker T and Goldust versus Los Guerreros. So again, a little bit more, I won't say like better in-ring work, because the Un-Americans are really good in the ring, but Eddie was super over as a heel, and I think he'd bring a little more heat to the match. So yeah, guys, all in all, that is my SummerSlam 2002 rebooking. Let me know what you guys think about it, and I'm going to run down the card for you guys right now. So for the World Tag Team Championship, I have Booker T and Goldust defending against Eddie and Chavo Guerrero, Los Guerreros. And then we have brother versus brother, Jeff Hardy from Raw versus Matt Hardy version 1 from SmackDown. And then we have a steel cage match, Y2J Chris Jericho versus Edge. And then we have the Nature Boy Ric Flair versus Big Evil The Undertaker. Then we have Rey Mysterio versus the Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle. Next, we have for the Intercontinental Championship, the whole effing show, Rob Van Dam versus the Rabid Wolverine Chris Benoit. In the semi-main event, we have an unsanctioned match, the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels versus the Game Triple H. And in the main event for the Undisputed WWE Championship, we have the champion, the great one, The Rock, defending against the next big thing, Brock Lesnar. So yeah, guys, that is my card. Let me know what you guys think. Catch more SummerSlam rebooking soon, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.